Okay, so I have about 22 minutes left of memory on this card, so I'm not going to be talking for absolutely ever. I remember as a kid when we would have debates, not in debate class, but about anything. We would always have to be quiet and respectful and let the other people speak and lift up your hand, and you had to be polite and you had to be respectful, because if you was to go on to be someone that debates things or argues things, you have to learn these common things that we all agree upon, right? You let your opponent speak, be respectful, all these things that we learn in school, and if you did debate class, which I never did, but you learn these things. So having that in mind, I was blown away when I first saw the House of Commons debate, argue, or whatever they were doing. I remember the first time I watched it and I was like, oh my gosh, what, like, honestly, this can't be how it is. Has it really been like this? Is this how it is? Is this really how it is? And I was like, there's no way. There's actually no way this is how it always is. And it is. It blew my mind. It's like a bunch of kids. And they're all sitting there and they're all chanting and they're all bickering and they lack respect for each other. And it's a joke. It is an absolute joke. And it's crazy for me because when I first saw it, I was maybe like 22, 21, and it was the first time that I actually sat there and I watched it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is nothing like what we did in school, or nothing that we learned like in school. I bring this up now because I don't even know the terminology, but the guy that sits there and he kind of keeps order within the House of Commons, I watched a video of him basically pretty much like a teacher tell off the whole house and tell them that they were disrespectful and they didn't listen, and they acted like kids pretty much, and he really told them off like a teacher. And it just blew my mind when I watched it a few days ago. He was sitting there and he's just telling them off. He's like a teacher. He's like telling them off, like, and it blows my mind that we are taught in school to have this standard, and yet the people that rule our lives, that draw our our rules and govern our country, their standard may be somewhere up here, but it is below, far below what you would see in a classroom. That is insane. If you've never watched a debate or an argument or whatever you want to call it in the House of Commons, I implore you to go and watch it, because it is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. It's a bunch of kids, every single one of them, yapping and chanting. Obviously you get the occasional person that stands on bloody business and they say what's on their mind and they say what's on the people's mind, even though they may get kicked out or maybe frowned upon, they do it. And that is the people that get the most respect from the people, but unfortunately those people are normally looked down upon or are kicked out, unfortunately. Which is, it blows my mind. I remember a few years ago, I think it was in New Zealand, and a woman performed the haka. And for people that don't know what the haka is, it's basically like a dance, kinda. And it is deep rooted into their culture, and she gets kicked out for this, and I believe other people join her in the haka, and I think she was told if she does that she will get kicked out. She does it anyway, and I love that, because you either have bickering kids or you have a robot, right? You have these, and I think there's a sweet spot in between the middle, there's a part where you've got the facts, you've got the robot features, but you also can be human at the same time, and that's okay. But I think there's a fine line, and it needs to be in the middle. We need to bring that childish, or not childish, but that bickering, that human emotion. That's great, but let's dial it down a little bit here and meet in the middle with the so-called robot, right? Of the facts and the arguments and the roboticness. If you meet in the middle, and I think she done a great job of it, of meeting in the middle, yet she still got kicked out. So who knows? Some people have achieved this in many places of power, but most of the time get kicked out anyway. Which blows my mind when you have a bunch of kids behind them. Anyway, that's everything. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.